So here we're going to look at a new chapter, chapter 3, and this is solving quadratic equations. So, and we'll talk about what it means to solve a quadratic equation in class, but solving quadratic equations by by graphing. So there are different ways to solve quadratic equations, and one way is graphing. Usually that's the first way that students are taught. So let's look at this. Solve each equation by graphing. Alright, so what we want to do first is we want to graph this. X squared plus 3x minus 10 equals 0. So we use what we learned in the second chapter. And notice that it's in standard form, so we're going to find, let's label first. Our A is 1, B is 3, and our C is negative 10. Alright. Oh, there's going to be a... oh well, it's going to be a bad one. Not a bad one, but it's going to be a fraction. Okay, so here we have, now we want to find the x of the vertex. So we have x equals negative b divided by 2a. So that's the formula. Alright, and we just substitute those numbers in. So negative 3 over 2 times 1. And there we get negative 3 halves. Okay, so it's not too bad of a fraction. At least it's a half. Alright, and now what we want to do is we want to find the y of the vertex. So let's substitute that back in. And we're going to assume that instead of equaling 0, it's going to equal y. Okay, so we have negative 3 halves squared plus 3 times 3 halves squared, 3 halves minus 10 equals, instead of 0, it's y. Okay? So the way so when you square any number, it becomes a positive, and 3 squared is 9. So we have 9 over 2 squared is 4. Plus 3 times 3 is 9 halves minus 10. Alright, so here we have fractions, and we want to get a common denominator. Something got brighter. I don't know what happened. And here we have 4, 2, and a 1, an invisible one there. So our common denominator is going to be a 4. All right, that's the biggest multiple of 1 and 2. All right, so here we want to make this 2 into a 4, so we're going to multiply this by 2 times 2 times 2, and there we get 9 fourths plus 18 fourths. And here we're going to multiply this by 4. And it's 10 over 1, so multiply that by 4 as well. So we get minus 40 over 4 equals y. And 9 plus 18 is going to give us 27. Minus 40 is going to give us 13. So we get 13 fourths. Okay. The y is okay. So there we go. That's our vertex. Vertex. I don't know why I put parentheses there. And here we have x comma y. So our x was negative 3 halves. And our y was 13 fourths. And it's also a good thing to note the axis of symmetry. And remember, that's just x equals the x of the vertex. So here we have negative 3 halves. Okay, so let's get to graphing. And if you're wondering, don't we have to make a table? Yeah, we can make a table. But one thing about these is, since our vertex isn't on the x-axis, it's not on the y-axis, that means that we can find the y-intercept, and then we can find our reflected point, and that'll be good enough. All right. and we can estimate it there. So it's not really exact. If you want, you can make a table. Maybe we'll do one for this one. We'll see. Okay, so here we go. So -3/2, 13/4. 13 divided by 4. 4 goes into 13 3 times, 3 and 1/4, so 3.25. Okay, so that's our vertex. And I realize I should have put it on. Okay, so our vertex is -3/2, so we go to the left 1.5 and down 3.25. So about there. I think the axis of symmetry. Okay. Oops, why did I go down? I don't know. Oh, that should be a negative. Sorry. All right. Oh, sorry. There we go. And that looks better. Okay. And here it says that the okay. So I did this on purpose. And what was bothering me about this, I really should edit this. Oh well, it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes. So here, this was -3/2. I put +3/2. Sorry. So let's change that to negative. So this is actually a minus 18/4. Okay. So 9 minus 18 is -9. Minus 40 is -49. That's better. Okay, so what was bothering me was that this vertex was higher than the y-intercept. And here our a is positive, so there's no way that the y-intercept could be -10 if that was our vertex. How bad. Sorry about that. Alright, but its axis of symmetry is still at -3/2. And this time we go down -49/4. So how many times does 4 go into 49? Alright, so that is going to be 4 goes into 49 12 times. 12, and then that's 48. And then there's going to be 1 left over, so 12 and 1. -12 and 1/4, which is 0.25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 0.5, and then 12, 13. There you go. So 12.25 down here. now this is where it gets a little nice for standard form, because our y-intercept, remember, is just c. Y-intercept. Okay, so we're going to put our y-intercept at -10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And then we want to, we want to make a reflected point. So this is 1, and then 0.5 spaces away. So we need another point that's 0.5, and then another 1 on the other side of the axis of symmetry. Ta-da! That's the reflected point. All right, and there we go. Just gonna connect that, and look at that. Look at that. That is a graph drawn by hand, so it's not accurate at all. Okay. Okay, so it looks like our solution, and the solutions for graphs for when you're looking at graphs, that's when the graph crosses the x-axis. All right, so it's when it crosses the x-axis, and here it looks like this is going to be 2.5, and this is negative, is that 4.5? All right, which isn't too far off, because if I do this algebraically, which we'll do later, we'll find out that this is actually -5 and 2. All right, so it's not too bad. Close enough. All right, on to the next. And sorry about that mistake. Uh-oh, trying to make it focus. There we go. There we go. All right, so we have 2x squared plus 18 equals 12x. Notice that we want it to equal 0, so we're going to subtract 12x from both sides. And we get 2x squared minus 12x plus 18 equals 0. And what we can do here is we can factor out a 2. All right, but if we factor out a 2, then it's going to be, yeah, we can factor out a 2. So, but here let's do the same thing that we did over there. So our A is 2, B is -12, and our C is 18. All right, and x equals -b divided by 2a. So we have -12 divided by 2 times 2. And we get negative makes it positive. 12 over 4, which is 3. And that one's nice. So just like before, we're going to make this a y. So we have 2 times 3 squared minus 12 times 3 plus 18 equals y. And here 3 squared is 9. Just remember to square first and then multiply. Minus 36 plus 18 equals y. 18 minus 36 plus 18 equals y. And notice 18 plus 36, sorry, 18 plus 18 is 36. Minus 36 is going to give us 0. Uh-oh. So here, our y-intercept is actually going to be the vertex. Sorry, our x-intercept is going to be the vertex. Okay. So, yeah, that's not bad. So, what we want to do is we want to do the same thing as before. Vertex is going to be 3, 0. And the axis of symmetry is x equals, and our x of the vertex, which is 3. Alright, and let's graph it. And notice our y-intercept again is 18. Okay, so that's a pretty big number. We need quite a bit of space in the positive, unless we scale it, which I probably should do. Alright, but our vertex is at 3, 0, so we need it. So 3, that's 3 spaces away from the y-axis, so we need 3 more spaces away from that. Okay. There we go. Made it too far. Actually, this is our answer. But we had to graph it anyways. So, alright. So we're going to go by, I'll go by, since it's 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's go with 6. So 18 divided by 6 is 3, so we're going to scale it by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18. Alright, and these are just going to be by ones. Sorry. So vertex is at 3, 0. To the right 3, up 0. And then our axis of symmetry is right there. Y-intercept is at 18. Right? Y-intercept is C, so 18. And then how many spaces away is that? 1, 2, and 3. So we need another 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3 to get the reflected point. There we go. And there's our parabola, but like we said before, the solution is where the graph crosses the x-axis. And where is it crossing the x-axis? At the vertex. So our solution here is just 3. Yeah, x equals 3. Oh, sorry, I forgot to put the solution here for this one. X equals negative 4.5 and 2.5. And that's that.